What's up, YouTube? It's your boy TN Smooth back here with another banger, man. So we got Uber and Lyft horror stories for y'all, man. On some of these stores, man, like I said, I just need to be getting out of there, man. Some of y'all people make it way worse than yourselves, man. You just need to get the heck out of Dodge, man. But no, in these Uber and Lyft stories, I've been wanting to watch this one, and react to it. I've done Uber before, so I'm kind of familiar with how the app and everything works. So let's hop into this one and see how it rolls, man.
This was 4 years ago when I was an 18-year-old college student, and where I'm from, May is finals month. I spent yet another late night in the campus library until closing time, which in May is 11 p.m. instead of 10 p.m. since everyone's up late studying. I had to call an Uber to my off-campus apartment since I had arrived with a friend who left hours before me and I didn't have my car with me. I was out in the library parking lot at 11:15 when the Uber pulled up. It was a gray Toyota Camry. The driver's name was Adam. He greeted me as normal, and I sat in the back seat diagonal from him. He looked to be in his mid-40s. For the first 5 minutes of the ride, there were no words exchanged between the two of us. But then he started to ask me questions. His first question was if I was a student, which seemed a rather pointless question since I was just picked up from a college library. Next, he asked how my classes are going, then how old I was. I didn't like that question. I lied and said I was 23 instead of 18. At this point, I noticed he would constantly look at me through the rearview mirror as he spoke, and when he would finish what he was saying, he had this weird, creepy smirk on his face. His questions were getting a little too personal for someone whose sole relationship with me was supposed to be my driver for 10 to 15 minutes. He asked how my dating life at school is, and as much as I wanted to
Nah,
just
you don't
flat
need to
out
tell them all
ignore his
that stuff.
question, I said it wasn't bad. I should have lied and said I had a boyfriend, but for whatever reason I didn't think of saying that. He transitioned from questions to making comments, like that he used to be a huge cheater in college and asked if I ever cheated. I nervously laughed and said once or twice.
Ain't none of your business, man. Why you asking this girl all this stuff, bro? That ain't none of your business.
He then made it even weirder to no surprise and
Job
asked
to
if I'd
drive
ever
her, bro.
cheated on a boyfriend. I said no. At this point we were stopped at a red light. I tried my best to avoid looking at the rearview mirror, but I was too curious and snuck a peek. He was looking at me. He made a comment that I was very pretty. I knew it was coming eventually, and it still was incredibly creepy. I didn't acknowledge it. There were 2 minutes left in the ride when I noticed he made a left turn instead of a right turn at one of the intersections.
Heck
So I
nah.
spoke up and told him he went the wrong way. Then he said he knows, he just has to stop at his place real quick to get something. I asked him to
Nah.
please.
Your job is to drive me from point A to point B. I didn't ask you to make no stops. We ain't stopping at your house. That wasn't a part of the trip, bro. I would right there. I'd be out. I say nope. Thank you. You got 2 minutes left, bro. Go the rest of the way on foot or something. This guy's, I mean, he's gonna follow you anyway. But nah, this guy's weird, bro. Your job is to take me from point A to point B, not to take me to your house. Not to make no pit stops on my time, because I have to pay for time. So if we make a pit stop at your house, now I'm having to pay extra because we stopped somewhere. Nah, I'm out.
Just drop me off
This
first,
dude's
but he
weird.
insisted his house was a minute away. And apparently it was. He stopped in front of a house and said, "We're here." Then he turned to me and asked if I wanted to come in, saying
Nah,
he had alcohol.
I don't want to come inside, bro. Nah, I want to go to my point B, and I want to go there right now. That's what I would have said. I mean, but this is a girl. You got to think this is a girl with a guy. No telling how old this guy was. I think she said like 40s or something in the beginning of the video. But nah, this is already red flags, bro. There, I think on the Uber app, I don't know as far as customers, but I know as far as the driver, it lets you press something for help or whatever. I'd be pressing that if there's something for the customer. I think there is, but I'd be pressing that. It's literally like 2 or 3 clicks. I'd be pressing it and calls 911. Gives them your location. That's what I'd be pressing. Because this guy's weird.
Food in
Creepy.
case I wanted to release some stress after studying. I didn't even know what to say. I wanted to get out of the car and run, but I was scared to. I said, "Please just take me home." He chuckled and said he'd be right back. He went into his house, and that was when I got out from the car and started to run. No, I didn't think he had plans to murder me, but something was off about him and the situation, and I just wanted to get out of there. Moments later, I felt my phone vibrate, and it was a message from Adam the driver saying, "You know I have your address, hot stuff." That just made me run even faster. I canceled the ride just so he wouldn't be able to contact me anymore. I made it back to my apartment.
Ah, this dude's weird, bro. Now he's saying all this, and you say you don't know if he was gonna murder you. You don't know. Might maybe. This dude's weird, bro.
In a few minutes. Running with my backpack was hard, but thank God I do my cardio. My apartment was the left side of a duplex. That Adam guy wasn't parked in front of my house by the time I got back, so I hoped maybe he just wouldn't come. I filled out a form on uber.com titled Report a Serious Incident with a Driver, and I just gave all the details of the trip and included a screenshot of his message threatening that he had my address. Uber contacted me the next day, stating the driver was removed from the platform and should there be any further contact, that I should contact the authorities. Well, the next night when my roommate wasn't home because she was spending the night with the guy she was talking to, there was a knock at the front door followed by the doorbell. It was like 8 to 9 p.m., so it was kind of late for solicitors or anything like that.
It's dude.
I called through the door, "Who is it?" The man's voice on the other side said, "I found something that belongs to you." I asked, "Who is this and what did you find?" Their response was, "Just open up, I'll show you." The voice was familiar. I looked through the window next to the door, and I saw Adam the Uber driver hiding to the side of the door like he was pressed flat up against the wall, and he was holding something, I couldn't tell what. I ran for my phone to call 911, and sparing them all the details, I just begged for police to get to my apartment immediately. But by the time police arrived in front of the duplex, the knocks had long since stopped. He was gone, at least off the front porch. But I imagine he saw the police cars in front of the house because he never returned after that. There was this whole following up with the Uber report and the police now. But since there was no proof that it was Adam at the front door, I couldn't even press charges. The semester was over anyway, the lease was up, and I moved back home for summer. I left no trace for that Adam guy to ever find me again. At least, I don't think I did.
Hey, good job for you getting out of the car, man. I will say that. Good job getting out of the car. Sucks that he had your address, but I mean, how else can you do it? You ordered Uber, it gives him your address. It's that simple, man. Shout out to reporting him, and shout out to Uber for removing him quickly, man. So he couldn't be doing that to nobody else. He probably done that before though. But no, shout out all people that put that two in the end, man. And then the cops even showing up.
This story still haunts me to this day, almost every day. I used to be an Uber driver as my second job, usually late at night, like bar closing hours. It was a Saturday night around 3 a.m. I was a couple hours into my Uber driving night, and I got a call from across town to pick someone up on a street corner. In came some guy, African American, mid-20s, he had dreadlocks, I noticed a small tattoo on his neck, but I didn't look much longer than that. I asked how his night's going, and he just grunted. Happens, not everyone's super friendly. I confirmed the address he gave me, which appeared to be a house, and he just said yeah.
Yeah, that's
About
the
a
thing.
minute into the drive, he
Not
got
all Uber drivers are gonna want to talk. Not all Uber passengers are gonna want to talk. Whenever I had been picking people up, bro, I'd pick you up. If you seem like the type of person that didn't want to talk, or I said a few things to you like, "How are you doing?" I did a lot of airport stuff, so I'd be like, the first thing I'd say is, how was your flight?" Blah blah blah. And then gauging from the first few things that I say to you, how you respond. If you respond short and sweet, I know this person don't want to talk, so I ain't talking. I mean, I ain't say nothing much anymore, unless you say something to me. If you're real friendly and talking and stuff, and I can tell you want to talk, then I'm gonna talk to you, because it's all about customer service really. And if they don't want to talk, and you're just talking, over and over and over, you can annoy them. Then you ain't gonna get a tip. Probably not gonna get a good rating, etc. And then the same thing if they want to talk and you don't talk to them. So you just gotta gauge them out. Now this one's talking about they said something hi to the driver and he didn't say nothing much. Yeah, not everybody's super friendly, but still, yeah, he'd probably still get a low rating. Most people, instead of a 5 star, now you're getting 3 or 4 because I said hi to you and you ain't even want to say hi back. Like, it's about a little bit of customer service. You don't have to go out of your way and talk paragraphs to me, but at least say hi back, be friendly with me, But nah. So yeah, it's all about that. But
a little
this person didn't
aggressive and
want to talk, bro.
concerned that I apparently made a wrong turn because he thought I was taking a longer route. I assured him that I was just following the route that the app was
Oh no
giving
no
me.
no 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 no. My bad, my bad. It was talking about the passenger. They said hi to the passenger. Passenger didn't talk. Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. And I ain't saying nothing much to you. I'm just driving you to your destination like I'm supposed to do and going from there, bro.
He calmed down. Like 10 seconds later, he asks me if I'm feeling lucky, and I asked, "What do you mean?" He follows that with, "I mean, how much do you value your life, son? Nobody really values what they got." I didn't like where this was going.
No, I don't like that
I
question.
responded that I appreciate my wife and kids every single day. He went silent after that for a while. Then he started saying some things at such a low volume that I didn't know if he was talking to me or not. So I asked, "What was that?" He replied, "Nothing, fool. Just get me to where I gotta be." I asked, "Where is it we're heading anyway?" He replied, "I just gotta take care of some unfinished business." I really didn't know what to make of that answer. But I wasn't looking to continue that conversation or dig any deeper than I had already dug. We pulled up to some corner in a rather poverty-stricken area. Not an area I typically did any drop-offs or pickups. The guy said, "Ike, can you wait here for me?" I froze for a second, confused. I asked, "Do you need a ride back somewhere?" He replied, "Yeah, this'll be quick. I just gotta take care of some unfinished business first." I didn't want to drive this guy anywhere else, and I had a feeling whatever he was about to do in this house wasn't good, based on his unfinished business comment. I didn't want to be the getaway driver after some kind of fight or altercation, so I said, "Yeah, I'll be waiting here." But I had no intentions of waiting.
Good
The ride
job,
was
man.
marked as complete on my end anyway.
That's exactly what I would do. Yeah, I'll wait here, bro. I got you. All right, you go in. I'm gone. Because one, you didn't order, you didn't put on for me to stay. And two, you talking like that, I ain't waiting for you, bro. When you get out of this car, I'm gonna be glad to see you gone, bro. Nah, because he's making comments like that. He's probably going to kill somebody or fight with somebody or whatever, like this person said. So, nah, I ain't waiting for you. Sorry.
He shut the car door and approached the house, but he wasn't approaching the front door. He went to the back of the house by the backyard.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't stick around after that. I drove off after about 20 seconds, slowly and quietly so he wouldn't hear me taking off. I chose to end my shift that night right then and there. I was pretty sketched out. The next day, I heard something on the news that changed a part of me forever. There were 2 people shot in their home in the town I dropped that guy off the night before. As the news report went on, they showed a picture of the suspected shooter, and it was the guy I dropped off at that house. He was apprehended fleeing the scene not too far away after neighbors reported hearing gunshots. The shooting was suspected to be gang-related. I have forever blamed myself for this partially, having been the one to drive someone with intentions of murdering people to his destination to commit his heinous act. People have told me if it wasn't me, it would have been another Uber driver, but I still can't help but feel partially to blame for this and not picking up on the red flags in that car ride.
Yeah, like, I'd get that. If it wasn't you, it'd have been someone else because he's gonna order an Uber either way. But you also got to think, too, that if it was someone else, would they have caught on? Would they have called the cops or not? Because I do say in that situation, you should probably call the cops. I would have. So I would have left and I would have called the cops. Hey, I don't know if it means nothing. I'm not saying this is a dying emergency, but I just dropped a guy off, bro. And he told me he got to go get some unfinished business taken care of. He wanted me to wait for him. I didn't wait for him. I dropped him off right here. He went into this house and didn't approach the front yard, bro. You might want to go check it out. They're going to send an officer out, welfare check, and they're probably going to find them a lot quicker. Maybe they could have been saved. Maybe they couldn't have been. But at least they would have got there a little bit quicker. Because, see, they didn't get called out there until after gunshots were heard by other people. If you called them, they could have got there right as the gunshots went off, or right before, or right after. But we've at least given them a better chance. Now, I'm calling them just because that's how I am. And, if it's an emergency situation, I'm going to make sure to tell them on the phone. It's not really a super emergency. Like, I'm not saying for sure that I know someone's dying, but just the way that they said it and stuff, it sounds weird. You might want to send officers out to check out on this. I'm going to leave it at that. But nah, you don't really have to blame yourself, bro. Like, he didn't tell you he's going to go kill someone. Yeah, he used verbiage that kind of might have led up to something happening. But he didn't tell you he was going to do that. So it's not really your fault. You didn't drive him there knowing that you're driving him to go kill someone, bro. And then the other thing is, you be glad that you're alive, bro, because he had a gun in your car. He could have put a gun on you, telling you had to wait there. But instead, he just asked you, and you told him yes, and then you drove off, which was good, bro. Because look what would have happened if you waited for that man. He'd have been in the car with you. Let's say police saw him get in or somebody saw him get in your car and they were chasing you down, bro. He's probably holding a gun to your head, telling you to run. Now you're in a whole nother dilemma, because now you got to explain to the police why you ran. So no, you did good by driving off, bro. You didn't really know what he was going to do when you were driving him there, so it's not really your fault. The only thing I would say is someone would be talking like that and stuff, walking to the back of the house, whatever. You should have at least called the police just to go check out, but you didn't really do nothing wrong, bro. Don't press yourself too much about it. Thankfully, they caught him, though.
It was a stormy night, the first thunderstorm of the year. This was after my night shift ended at 4 a.m., and I had to call a Lyft to the train station since I didn't have my car at the time. I waited outside the place I bartended at the time, under the front patio to avoid getting soaked. A car pulled down the empty street and stopped in front of the bar. I had to check the Lyft app to ensure it was the correct car, and it was. A gray Honda Civic. I got in and greeted the driver, whose name was Sahil. I attempted to get in the front seat at first, but he told me not to and to sit in the back. That was only the second time I ever tried sitting in the front. That was before I realized it was customary to sit in the back seat. From the bar to the train station, it was about 10 minutes.
Yeah, we don't like
The
when
reason
people
I
sit
was
in the
taking
front seat.
train instead of just
I
driving
don't.
the whole way to my house is because I would be saving about $40. The driver was going very slow, but there was nothing weird about that given the weather outside. I would expect anyone to drive cautiously in a torrential downpour like this one. The driver didn't take the highway route. He took us down the side roads. I wasn't concerned about missing my train though. I had plenty of time. I wasn't concerned until the driver said something under his breath and then pulled the car to the side of the road. I looked up from my phone to see why and saw a man in the pouring rain waving his hands in the air. I almost asked if he was stopping to pick him up, but I just observed. And yes, the man on the street got in the back passenger seat next to me. He was soaking wet. He kept his black hood on in the car. I scooted all the way over to the left. I was expecting the man and the driver to exchange some kind of words, but they didn't. Did they know each other? I had no idea what
Set
was
up,
going
bro.
on. During the ride, I felt in the corner of my eyes the feeling of that man next to me looking at me. Maybe he was looking out my window, so I shot a quick half-second glance to him. But I was wrong. He was looking at me. On top of it, as the drive progressed, I started paying more attention to the route we were taking. It wasn't the right way to the train station. I tried to sneak a peek at the driver's phone screen to see if maybe he was following some incorrect route, but he seemed to have his phone on his lap, unlike most Lyft drivers who have their phones mounted on the dashboard. I politely said, "I think we're going the wrong way." He replied something in such a low tone mixed with a thick accent that I had a hard time understanding it. By the third time I asked him to repeat himself, I finally just repeated myself and said we're going the wrong way. I confirmed this by checking the map on my phone. The driver didn't acknowledge me. I felt as though the guy next to me was inching closer every minute. He also wouldn't stop staring at me. Eventually, I asked the driver to pull over and canceled the ride. No acknowledgement. The driver was blowing stop signs, and there were no stoplights anywhere on these side roads, so I didn't really have a good time to escape.
Heck nah.
I knew I was about to be their victim of something. This was some kind of trap, so I decided I was going to jump out of the car when I had the chance. I waited till we were on a street with woods on one side, which was perfect for me to make my escape. The car was going probably 15 to 20 miles per hour. I opened the car and jumped out. The two men screamed stuff in a different language, I'm guessing to each other. My impact with the ground was obviously painful, but I think the layer of water on the street might have cushioned my fall a little bit. The car completely stopped, and I saw the man who was next to me get out. I had to get on my feet and run into the woods. I heard him chasing after me for a little bit, but there was no shot he'd find me. I heard him yell something back to the car. It sounded like it was in Russian. Then he ran back to the car and they drove off. I immediately called an Uber instead of a Lyft this time, and this time I was brought safely to the train station. While on the train, I went ahead and filed an online police report, and then contacted Lyft and reported the driver. The next day, I also went to the police station and reported the whole incident. But here's where the bomb was dropped. There was a gray Honda Civic reported stolen just the night before. I gave them every last detail I could remember, and eventually I was on my way. I left that police station contemplating my life, and just how narrowly I may have escaped with my life.
Heck yeah, bro. Get out of there. GG. Some people would have stayed there. Some people would have. Some people just ignore their gut feeling, man. But you didn't ignore it. You got out of there. GG to you, bro. And yeah, good job, man. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Peace.